My name is Brandon Heberlin. I'm 24 years old, and this is a testimony of what God's done for me and what He wants to do for you. When I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, the south side of Columbus, off Parsons Avenue. Many of you probably know about that. I've heard of the area. When I came home from the hospital, my great aunt adopted me and took me and my sister in, my twin sister, because my biological mom wasn't capable of taking care of me and my sister. So she raised us, and she was an older woman, and by the time I was about 11, I got into the wrong crowd of people, and I started hanging out with older kids than me, and they used to party and drink and do drugs, and they used to beat on me, and they was just real violent, and got into the wrong crowd, and so I became very violent at the age 13. I used to drink and do drugs, and it was the way I was brought up. It's all I knew. I was a real violent person. I used to steal. I used to carry guns, steal guns. I used to steal from my mom. I used to steal. I used to steal from my friends. I would steal from just about anybody, and I used to lie, and I used to cheat, and I used to sell dope to get to drugs, and sell anything I could get my hands on. And by the age 15, my mom wasn't capable of taking care of me and my sister anymore, so we used to go and we used to just run the streets and do what we wanted to do, and we used to drink every day, smoke marijuana. It's the way we was brought up. And so Children's Services got involved and took us out of the home, and they placed me in Circleville, Ohio, and I lived in Circleville, Ohio. I didn't change much. I quit doing some of the things. I quit running the streets all night long. I quit carrying guns. But I still smoked marijuana. I still drank. I used to get in a lot of trouble because my foster mom wouldn't let me drink, and I would drink anyway. So she'd always call the cops on me. I'd always fight and argue with the cops and run from the cops. And I did that until about the age 18. My mom that adopted me, my great aunt, she passed away. She was in a foster home, and she was real old, and she passed away. And then I got real mixed up, man. I didn't know what to do or who to turn to, so I started drinking more and more and more and more, and started smoking more marijuana, and started taking pills. And by the age 20, I started smoking crack. I started selling crack and smoking it, and I smoked crack for about a year straight, and I got real bad on it, and I decided I needed to get off of it. So I went to Lancaster. I moved from Circleville to Lancaster and lived with my sister because she was staying in Lancaster. I got off of crack, luckily, thank God. I got off of crack, and I started messing with this girl, and she was bad news. We used to do drugs all day, every day, and we used to drink all the time, and she always was messing around with other people, and I found out she was messing with this guy who used to give her money, and I got real jealous, got real messed up on nerve pills. So me and a few of my friends decided to run up into his house. Well, we tried to run up into his house. Luckily, we never made it inside the house, but the cops caught me, and the cops charged me with 2 felony 1s and a felony 3, and I had to go to prison, and I had to go do a year in prison. So I went to prison, and as soon as I got there, I knew I had to do something, because there's these guys all around busting each other's heads, these gangsters. It was just a real violent place to be, and so I decided I needed protection. So for the first time, I prayed, and I told God, I said, God, protect me while I'm here. Make sure I don't get hurt or nobody messes with me. And when I get out of prison, I'll give my life to you, and I'll serve you. So I went to church every Sunday, and nobody touched me. By the grace of God, nobody touched me the whole year I was in prison. Nobody touched me. Nobody messed with me. I almost got in a few fights, but I never got to fight. I never had to fight. And no one touched me the whole time I was there. So I got out of prison. I quit going to church. I slowly started falling away from God. And I started messing with this girl, and she used to take pills, and I started messing with her, and I was staying in Lancaster, Ohio, and she started doing pills with me, and I started doing pills, and a few months went by, and I decided I wanted to get off of pills, so I was on Percocets pretty bad, so I moved to Pickerington, Ohio, and my sister let me come stay with her. Well, I quit messing with that girl, and I got off of the pills, but I kept drinking, and I kept smoking marijuana, and I started messing with this real good girl. Her name's Tiffany, and she's a real good girl, and she's a good mom. She's got a daughter, wonderful mother. And I started slowly talking to her and stuff, and we talked, and we started dating, and one thing turned into another, and I got drunk one night, and I real violent, said a lot of things I should have never said, and she said, you need to change, you need to quit smoking marijuana and quit drinking, because I'm not liking it, you know. And I never quit, I never listened, I kept on doing it, and me and her quit talking, and that's about the time that I knew that I needed to change. And I met this guy upstairs. God put this guy in my life who lived above us, because we lived in apartments, and somebody lived upstairs. He lived upstairs, and his name was George Rivero. Great guy. I have a lot of respect for him and a lot of love for him and his family, because he brought me to God. And he comes downstairs one day, and he says, hey man, you need some work? You want a job? Come to work with me. I'll pay you. And I said, yeah, man, I'll come to work for you. So I went to work for him. He ran a power washing business, and I went to work for him, and he kept telling me, hey, man, you should come to church with me sometime and check it out, you know, and God's doing this for me, and God's done this, and I wasn't trying to hear it. Well, he kept telling me, and I finally said, okay, I'll go. So about a year ago, I went to church with him, and I'm sitting in church, and I just felt this urge to go to the front. And I went to the front, and the pastor said, do you know God? And I'm like, no, I don't really know him like that, you know. And he said, well, pray with me. Do you want to know him? And I said, yeah, I want to know him, you know. And so I prayed with him, and I gave my life to God that day. And about a month later, I was still working with George Rivero. Him and his family's great people. His family pretty much took me in, and because of them, I'm who I am today, and I love God a lot more. They've really brought me closer to God. Every time they're just filled with God. I mean, God just shines through them. Every time I walk into the house, George's wife has always got a plate of food on the table. George always treats me just like family, and I love him. He's a great brother, and he's a great servant of God. And anyways, he's like, hey, why don't you come down to Jackson, Ohio with me, man? And I want to introduce you to this anointing brother of mine.